Welcome and good day to you. I am Edwin Jarvis, personal butler to Mr. Anthony Stark. This area is where Mr. Stark carries out the research and development of his Iron Man suit. As you can imagine, the body armor has become so complex that a staff of technicians is required. You may walk around and inspect the facilities. I believe you'll already find several of your compatriots here.
The name's Jack Hammer, but you can call me Weasel. Everyone does. Yeah, and don't worry, I came in through the back. No one saw me. Wyatt Wingfoot gave me a damaged laptop. Said you heroes wanted to know what data was on it? Yeah, that laptop holds security information for a building called the Imperium. I can find out, but you'll have to get me the password into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s priority files. Oh, there's three possibilities. Jacob Fury, Baron Strucker, or Gabriel Jones. Talk to Vision. He'll be able to help.
I must admit, I find news of a S.H.I.E.L.D. outpost near Atlantis very intriguing. Now I know the extent S.H.I.E.L.D. is willing to go to gather information on countries with closed borders. Indeed, it does. And now I wonder if perhaps S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't have an outpost hidden there. We have the largest deposit of vibranium in the world. To open our borders would be an invitation to those who would conquer us. Over the centuries, fools have tried. But the Black Panther is always there to stop them. Indeed I am. Victor Von Doom has created a sizable army of supervillains. I don't know, but Doom must have a truly grand scheme to risk attacks on the helicarrier and the Omega base. You are quite welcome.
I know seeing the Super Soldier project has raised some concerns about S.H.I.E.L.D., but let's get all the facts before we cause any trouble. I think S.H.I.E.L.D. has a lot to deal with, and sometimes it makes mistakes, but historically, it's done a great job of keeping the peace. I saw they were testing out a new version of the Super Soldier Serum, the same type of drug that gave me my strength and agility. Yes. During World War II, I volunteered for Operation Rebirth. It was a program for creating physically superior soldiers. I exceeded their expectations. Unfortunately, Dr. Erskine, the man who developed the drugs, was killed, and no one's been able to recreate his work. I have to admit, things sound kind of suspicious. Like, why was she carrying that laptop during the attack on the helicarrier? No. I'd need a lot more evidence before I'd say something like that about the Black Widow. Anytime, friend.
I've heard people complaining about S.H.I.E.L.D. since we got back from the Omega. I'm telling you, it's gotta stop. I trust Nick Fury. He's pulled my fat out of the fire more times than I can remember. Look, Fury does what he has to keep the world safe. He ain't always got the luxury of playing by the rules. I've known her for a while. She's always been good in a fight, and Fury trusts her. Unless that meathead Weasel comes up with better evidence, I ain't believing nothing against the Black Widow. Of course I am. He's been loyal to me. After all the trouble I had with the Hand recently, I owe Fury my life a dozen times over. Let's just say that evil bunch of psychos got hold of me and turned me into their assassin. It caused a lot of people a lot of pain. But Fury helped me out, kept me alive, and I'll never forget that. Sure thing, bub.
I do hate to impose, but if you see a cufflink somewhere in Stark Tower, could you return it to me? It was lost by Mr. Stark, and it has extreme sentimental value to him. My name is Edwin Jarvis, and I'm Mr. Anthony Stark's butler, as well as the butler for the Avengers. You could say it runs in my blood. My mother and father worked for Mr. Stark's parents. It is a dream of Mr. Stark's that was 4 years in the making. The top 3 floors are his living quarters. The rest of the building houses his business interests. No, not any longer. Mr. Stark recently had a change of heart concerning that particular field of industry. This is primarily where new Iron Man suits are built for Mr. Stark. Oh, indeed he does. But as his designs have grown more and more complex, he has required assistance in manufacturing them. It was my pleasure.
Mr. Stark, there's a Harold Hogan on line 2 for you. Mr. Stark, Miss Bambi and Miss Heather here in the main lobby to see you. The nanotechnology team will be meeting in the electronics lab.
Welcome, my friend.
Colonel Fury,
Do you
Red
require
Rose is on
information?
line 6.
I know it's a name Colonel Fury would just as soon forget. Jacob Fury was so jealous of his older brother's success that he turned to a life of crime. Yes, and to make matters worse, the Colonel was forced to kill Jacob. So you can see why Colonel Fury does not care to dwell on that name. I would suggest you talk to the Black Widow about that name. I am glad to be of assistance.
Bambi and Miss Heather are still waiting for you in the main lobby, Mr. Stark.
Greetings. Welcome back.
Johnny Storm would like you to announce that today is
I would
Red
not say
Grim's
that name too
65th
loud.
birthday.
He is a
Happy
leader of
birthday, Mr.
Hydra
Grimm.
and a longtime nemesis of Colonel Fury. You should ask Colonel Fury about Mr. Jones.
Mr. Stark, there's a Harold
You are
Hogan
quite
on line
welcome.
2 for you. Mr. Stark, there's Miss Bambi.
Well
and
done on
Miss
the
Heather
Omega
here
mission.
in the main lobby
Will you
to
have the
see
same
you.
success in Atlantis? Gabe? Heck yes. He's a great guy. Back in the day, he was one of my Howling Commandos. He still is. Gabe's one of my top advisors. He saved me from making serious mistakes more times than I care to remember. You're welcome.
Warning. A small thermonuclear device is missing and therefore was last seen in the weapons lab.
Ah, splendid. You located the missing cufflink. It was a gift from Miss Virginia Potts when she had been Mr. Stark's secretary. It was my pleasure.
Hey, how's it going? It definitely belongs to the Black Widow. It's got her fingerprints all over it. For most techs, it would have been a lost cause, but for me, I managed to drag up a few tidbits of information. It mostly dealt with a building called the Imperium. I don't know, but that laptop had the layout of the building and all kinds of information about the security. I can, but you need to get me Fury's password into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s priority files. I bet I'll find everything you want to know. My sources tell me it's one of 3 possibilities. Jacob Fury, Baron Strucker, or Gabriel Jones. That's what I need you to find out. Talk to Vision. He'll be able to help. Thanks. When you get back from Atlantis, I'll have all the information you need. Sure. Anytime.
Mr. Stark, there's a Harold Hogan on line 2 for you. Mr. Stark, there's Miss Bambi and Miss Heather here in the main lobby to see you.
Hi, it's good to see you. Are you kidding? Mr. Stark built this jet as tough as they come. No problem. She's completely submersible.